All right. Hey, this is Seppi, and I am going to give you a quick tour of this editor called Focus. Uh, I really like this editor, and when when I say editor, it's just an editor. It doesn't have all these bloated features, all this crap you find in other editors like VS Code. Actually, VS Code is an IDE. Uh, but there are so many editors these days out there, and also IDEs. To me, most of them are very slow, very heavy, very laggy, and I really don't like most of those things. I also don't like editors like terminal editors like Vim. I think uh, the typing experience in terminal is not that great. So a while ago, I don't even remember, I think I found this editor maybe on Twitter/X, and I like started using it, and for the past couple of months, I've been using this editor exclusively for one of my side projects. So this editor is called Focus. Uh, it is written in a programming language which is not out there yet, called Jai, uh, and you can find the source code for this editor on the GitHub page, uh, github.com/focus editor focus, and it has uh, different builds for Windows, Mac, and Linux. I tested this editor on my Mac machine, and this is right now my Linux machine. I didn't test it on Windows, but I suppose uh, all three platform versions behave exactly the same, because that was my experience when I tried this on Mac and Linux. And if you want some nightly releases, you can go to the Focus editor.dev, and then you can download the nightly builds for your uh, uh, preferred desktop. So what is special about Focus editor is that it has uh, it excludes a lot of unnecessary features that you find in a lot of editors, because if you want to use an editor, you are focused actually on the core feature, which is typing, and that is what you get with this tool. This is great for typing. Now, one of the things that I really, really like about this editor is that it has a very straightforward and simple configuration system. Everything is in one place, and you don't have to spend hours figuring out how to, tweak things. And from this regard, it is very similar to another good editor known as Sublime, uh, uh, and it has a very minimum UI as well. So uh, I've come from Emacs background, so when I started, using this editor, I quickly put together some Emacs key bindings for myself. So the I'm not going to tell you what key bindings what keys I'm pressing, because uh, they are not the default key bindings. So I don't want to confuse you with that. But I'm going to show you uh, uh, the configuration that I have here. Uh, so this is the global configuration for this editor, meaning that this is the base configuration, uh, but you can override this configuration per project. So yes, you can have projects in uh, this editor. The way that you set up project for Focus is a bit clunky, but it's fine. So let's just ignore this part, because this is just not necessarily something we need for the global configuration. But the setting part is like pretty straightforward. It's like an INI file or INI looking file, and you know all the options are pretty much straightforward. And then you have the key maps, and the key maps are divided into a bunch of different sections. The key maps that you use for editor, um, the key map that you use, for example, in open file dialog for searching, some common key maps that you can use everywhere. And these are the predefined sections, so I didn't define them myself, so you have to follow these things. And so here is the key, for example, and here is the command that this key invokes. And the good thing about this editor is that it allows you to define you know a series of keys to be pressed in order to trigger a command. For example, again, this is the key binding that like an Emacs like key binding that I use here. For example, if I want to open a new file, I press Control X and then Control F, and then I have this thing here, and everything is pretty snappy and pretty quick, like as you can see here. So like you can set up the fonts and everything, and sizes and everything. So that's all it is for the configuration. It is as straightforward as you get. So now this editor allows you to have it allows you to define projects, and then you can override some of this configuration, actually all of this configuration and key bindings per project. So the way that the projects are handled is like this. So you have projects, you have a folder which holds the project definition for all your projects. So if you want to access that folder, you just type open directory with project files. So now these are the projects that I have here. For example, this is my own project, which I'm going to show you in a minute, and a bunch of other projects. Now, I'm going to keep this file open here. This is Focus Editor without any project loaded in it. And then I'm going to create another one, and now I want to switch to one of my projects, for example SQV here, and I don't know, pack. Yeah. So now I am now in a project, and I can go config. I can go I can open the global config here, which is exactly this file, or now I can open a project configuration. And as you can see here, now I have a bunch of key bindings that I define here. From the editor behavior perspective, I don't want any specific behavior, so I just don't make any changes. Here I define the path to my project, and these are the files that I want to ignore, meaning that if I want to search something, for example, if I want to find something, I invoke this, this UI here, and the search here excludes all the files or directories that are under these paths. This is really good because if you don't want to, if you want to ignore some unnecessary files, then you can use this. And then I have defined my build command section, which tells here you define where is your build working directory, and if you invoked a build command, do you want to open a panel, which I'm going to show you in a minute, or after the build command was finished or is finished, you want it to automatically be closed. and all those things. And then below this, you can create some custom commands. These names here, these are all custom commands. I just named them whatever I wanted. And then then I define what when I define the key binding for this command. So if I invoke Control R, Control T, then I get a terminal which is open in the my project's working directory. So if I show you the the path, right, you can see it here, like it is in my project. Or for example, if I go to depths, I don't know, maybe circle, for example, here. So I open this file in my project, and I want to open a terminal inside the folder that this file resides in. I press Ctrl R and then T, which is my key binding, my custom key binding, which I have defined. So now I'm going to close this editor to the left, and now here is, for example, the panel. When you run some command, you can see the panel. For example, I run this, and I can see the output here, and I terminate it. You can see it's like your terminal output being captured in this panel. This is pretty cool. And you can toggle this, so you don't, if you missed something, you don't have to run the command again. So you can toggle it again. I'm not going to tell you what key bindings I use, because I use my own custom key bindings, which is different from the default. What else? Now you can split the screen, like this. You can jump between different things. You can search file in the current folder, or search file across project, like something like this. And what else? That's it, actually. That's all you get out of the box. There is no plugin system, which is really good. There is no auto completion. You don't actually need it. If you really want to focus on writing code, there is no AI slop, no LSP, no nothing. It's just pure editor experience. It's pretty fast, pretty snappy. Like I don't know if this captures this, but I have used all sorts of different editors, and I can literally feel the lag. For example, in VS Code, in IntelliJ IDE, the lag is so big. It is annoying, but sometimes for at my work, I need to use these editors. I try to remove the bloat from those editors as much as I can, but there's only so much that you can do. But with this editor, you don't have to be worried about any of those things. I have defined some, custom key bindings to toggle things. Like I just toggled the status bar, I toggle it again, line numbers. And I use this searching feature a lot. You can search something in a buffer where, like, I want to see or you can search with preview, actually, which is something I use the most. If you want to see the occurrences of the things that you are searching, these two options that I showed you, they search within the buffer that you're in. And if you want to search across files in your project, you can also invoke something like that. I don't know, for example, nkrect, and you can quickly jump to something that matches with it. You can jump back and forth to the prior cursor in a position or next cursor position, which is also pretty nice. And yeah, actually I have, as I mentioned before, I have the key bindings for all the actions that I need. If I want to compile my code, I just made some changes to this file. So I just ran a compile command, which for me here is Control R, if I can find it, here, which calls the make file, actually, a make command. This Linux machine that I'm using is a little bit slow, so it takes some time to compile this C file. And yeah, that's basically it. All you get from this editor, which is amazing. I hope you enjoyed watching this video.